This is Greg Pasternak from Riverside Life, and today I'm at Graves Creek in Atascadero, California, in the south central coastal region. Okay, so it's spring. Again, the conditions are relatively dry, but there's actually a small amount of water coming out the creek right now. So the attributes of this one, both classification systems, the statewide and the South Central Coast regional classifications, agree that this is an unconfined valley, although it's entrenched, not as entrenched as some places we visited, but definitely entrenched. So unconfined valley, and then unconfined valley, gravel substrate according to the statewide classification, gravel cobble according to the regional classification, and then pool riffle. So one of the interesting things about this site is this site has one of the highest bed undulation metrics that we have. So a lot of relief between pools and riffle crests. So that's interesting to see. But unfortunately, because there's water here, it's hard for me to get around and really illustrate that so well. But I'm starting off looking downstream from this bridge, and already there's some things you can see here. There's a piece of large wood, or stream wood as we call it, across the river, and then there's a deep scour right under that, so just some local scour there. Right in the foreground over here is a riffle crest, and then that has a little bit of a slope to it, and then the scour pool behind the large wood, and then the water just basically dies, like a short distance down here. I mean, it's like a moving trickle and just gone. So it just shows you the infiltration and transmission losses, as we say it, in these kinds of semi-arid streams. But anyway, looking past that in the distance, down where my finger is pointing, there is what would be a pool if there was water in it. And so from where I'm standing to there, that's where there's this very high relief. I'll try to make a video down at that pool. Okay, so here's a view where you can really see the riffle crest and you see the water that's coming down, and then I'm going to rotate, and as I rotate you'll see how the water just dives and goes away into the gravel, and that's pretty much the end of it. So here we go, and you can see from here there's water flowing, not a lot, but whatever, and then just there it's just absolutely gone. So where is the water going? But the ground is porous and it can just absorb all that. The slope has pretty much dropped because now we've come off the back slope, so we're actually in what would be a pool if there was if we had water here, and we're not at the deepest part of the pool. It's just a little bit farther over where I'm kind of like, well, let's see, yeah, where the shadow is basically, and there's a wet spot down there. So anyway, the water is sort of dying in there and can't make it up to the neck. So I think I'm just going to keep this on, and we're gonna walk down a little bit here. Sorry if it gets a little bouncy, but let's just take a look. So as we go down, I'm walking right towards the deepest part of this pool, and then from here, let's say go here. Whoa, sorry, kicked the camera. So from here we can see the next little riffle crest and pool. I'm aimed right at it. So let's see from where we are here. So we've got a crest going across, and then the pool down where my hand is there. So it's nice to be able to see the whole topography. So we've got that crossover. So from the deepest part of that pool to the riffle crest, to the deepest part of this pool to the upstream riffle crest, there's quite a bit of bed relief for the channel here. So, and then in the distance you see the confluence with the river that this creek flows into. And then I'll just turn upstream one more time to give you another view so you can see some of the context of that riffle crest under the bridge. You can see how, there's the back side of the crest flows into, a relatively plain bed straightaway, and then down towards the pool, and as it approaches the pool, we just lose the flow. It just goes out. I'm going to turn the camera around to look upstream. It's in the shade, so it's going to be looking a little different. Give me a sec here. Okay, so let the light adjust here, and let's see what we got. Okay, so got caught here. So looking upstream, what do we see over here? We do see some more, in this case, bank vegetation. You can get a sense of the entrenchment partially from the bridge here. If you look at the bridge and you see the valley floor is way up there where the top of the bridge is, and then we're down here. So, you know, this is entrenched. What we've seen, it's pretty much endemic in this whole south central coast region. Like, most of the streams we visit have been entrenched. Not all. I mean, Pancho Rico, for example, is one that wasn't entrenched. But anyway, so we've seen a lot of entrenchment, and you know, whether it's been unconfined, confined, partially confined, in the valley context, there's just been a lot of entrenchment. So now let's move on from that valley context. We can look a little bit at the substrate. So if we zoom in and maybe, let's see, I can rotate this down a little bit. So in terms of the substrate that we have here, it is predominantly gravel. It's relatively fine. So we're looking at a median grain size of only 8 millimeters. And yeah, we can see some sand mixed in here. We can see a lot of gravel and then just a little bit of cobble. So in this case, actually, the statewide classification with just gravel as the class, you know, fits a little better than the lumping of the gravel cobble for the regional classification. And then if we look upstream, let me just rotate a little bit. We get the whole width here and go back out a little. Well, actually, let's stay zoomed in. So if we look upstream from here, it's very stagnant. In the distance, there's, you know, because there's not a lot of flow, there's no storm flow. There's probably, you know, that pool riffle undulations there. So the riffle right here where we're standing is backing water up into this next pool, and my guess is that somewhere up there is where the next riffle is. So the actual measurement site is upstream, but I can't wade through all this. I didn't bring waders. But I think this gives you a sense about the range of bed undulations. There's some width variability here, that's for sure, but because of the entrenchment, as we've seen at entrenched sites, it's like nothing like the kind of width variability you have when a river is not entrenched. And you know, if you've seen some of the valley contacts as some of the larger ones like Los Gatos Creek or, you know, Cuyama River, or some places like that where it's lacking entrenchment, there's a chance for more width undulation. Although Cuyama, I think, was uniform. But anyway, we'll be looking at other sites in the region that have a lot more width variability later. Okay, so I think that's everything there is to say about this site. It gives you a sense of a highly bed undulating site.